Yo, what's your boy Ghost here, and today I'm bringing you guys another comparison video between the Cooper Carbine and Automaton. And I wanted to make this comparison, bro, because I was using the Cooper Carbine and I realized that the Cooper Carbine literally felt like an Automaton. Like, they both feel very similar to one another. And I was just like, okay, I know I made this comparison in the past, but right now, in the recent time, like, you know, it's pretty relevant. Because I don't know, I remember when I was, if you guys are like in tune with the Warzone scene, when Swag like did his little console tourney, you know, they were trying to talk about like what the best gun on console was, and people were saying, you know, the Cooper Carbine, or people were saying the Automaton, because I feel like on PC, like, that's a whole different story when you got affected FOV and essentially all visual recoil for a lot of these guns disappear. So it's like, I feel like any gun or different guns are meta there, where like on console you kind of have to lean towards the ones that naturally just have less recoil, and guns like the Automaton and Cooper Carbine are ones that come to mind. But this video, like, I'm not saying this is like a specific like, oh, console only like comparison. It's more so like in general, but like, I don't know, man, we're gonna take the whole console thing into account when we do this. But before getting into the video, I want to say, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on to 2,000, about like 90 subs away, a little bit less at this point. But yeah, man, let's just get into the comparison. Then we have the recoil pattern for the Cooper Carbine, and as you guys can see, nothing too crazy. This gun, just like the Automaton, like base recoil patterns look kind of a little weird, little sus, but like once you start controlling the gun, they have zero recoil, and both of them are very similar when it comes to like just controlling the recoil. When you hold down your right analog, the recoils for these guns pretty much disappear. They're very easy to control. And if you can't control these guns' recoil, man, like I mean, you gotta just check check yourself, man, because they're so easy to control recoil, man. Like, it's not even funny, bro. All you gotta do is slightly push down on the right analog, and I mean, bro, you're literally shooting just straight lasers, and it's just like, man, can't believe they allowed for this to happen. Thankfully, both these guns aren't necessarily the greatest, like, in terms of damage statistically, because if they were, bro, with no recoil and the fast fire rate, man, this would just be kind of tragic. Kind of reminds me of like the Ram. I think the Ram does have like solid damage, has pretty good fire rate, and it's pretty easy to control. Or not pretty easy, but somewhat easy to control. It's not as easy as these two weapons, but it's somewhat easy, you know, a little easy. And then when you mount, obviously there's a zero recoil. But anyways, a Cooper Carbine, man, this gun has been pretty much, I guess, I would say, respected ever since it came in what, season 1. And there hasn't really been much change to this gun, I believe. I think maybe one nerf, and then I think they ended up like tweaking it a little bit in season 2 update. Where the Automaton has kind of been up and down, where, you know, it came in strong, got nerfed, then got buffed again, and now here we are. And to be honest, bro, I saw a tweet about like how they think that Raven isn't gonna add anything to season or Warzone 2. And I was just kind of depressed, bro, because I feel like, man, they just like, I don't know, these guns are, if their guns are gonna stay like this forever, bro, like, then it's just tough, man. Like, we need something out here, man. I don't know, I feel like Cooper Carbine needs a little buff in terms of damage. I think that would be solid for it. Maybe nerf the fire rate a little bit, or the recoil control a little bit, and just up the damage a little bit. The Automaton, I think, is actually in a pretty good spot. I feel like if you nerf or buff it a little bit more, it'll be too good. And if you nerf it a little bit, it'll just make it complete ass. Right now, I think it's in a nice, good spot where people like it. And I don't think it needs a buff or nerf. But I feel like the Cooper Carbine might need just a tad bit, of damage. That's just me. Now, I know I could use the mag. I know there's a specific mag, like the 40-45 round mag for the Cooper Carbine, where I get damage, but like, it just doesn't feel the same, man. It really doesn't. It feels just weird, but you know, that's just me. But anyways, man, with that being said, let's just get into the my brain just froze. Automaton, my brain just froze. God damn. And here we have the recoil pattern for the Automaton, and as you guys can see, it's actually really crazy. And finally, we got another comparison where the recoils aren't exactly the same. Shout out to developers. But anyways, here's Automaton, like I mentioned earlier, a gun that's just been up and down since it's been released or integrated into the game. And I don't know, man, who knows what it's in store for this weapon. If they actually decide to do some weapon changes, I feel like the Automaton is going to be on top of the list, because I think this is like easily one of the best guns in I would say best primaries in the game right now. Definitely favorited by a lot of people, including myself. I know it's not like clear-cut number one, same as like the only gun in the SMG category, but I think people just still rock with it, and rightfully so. Like, it's really, really good. But anyways, man, we're gonna move over to some stats, and I gotta be honest, I did this comparison like less than a month ago, and bro, like, I totally forgot how close some of these statistics were. Like, I knew they were close, and I know they acted very similar, but bro, like, these stats, man, like, just take a listen to this. So for the fire rate for the Automaton, we have an 833 RPM, and then for the Cooper Carbine, we have an 803 RPM. So literally a 30 RPM difference right here. I think the only big difference is like the 75 round mag in comparison to the 60 round mag for the Cooper Carbine. Like, to be honest, that's like the one big, I think, little just advantage that the Automaton has. But 15 extra bullets for a gun that has a lot of, like, a fast fire rate is very significant. Like, because I know you guys notice when you use the Cooper Carbine, when you use the Automaton, you kill somebody, you down somebody, like, you blow through a lot of ammo, but like, as you're just shooting, bro, the ammo just starts going and going and going. Like, I had that happen to me so many times, man. And in this case, I think those 15 extra bullets is very, very important. And then moving on over to the damage for the Automaton 0 to 42 meters, we got 33 damage to the head and neck, 24 to the chest and stomach, and 22 to the extremities. Whereas the Carbine for 0 to 28 meters, we got 36 damage to the head, 28 to the neck, 26 to the chest, 24 to the stomach and extremity. So the Cooper Carbine has a slight advantage in damage. Actually, yeah, just a slight advantage in damage in certain categories, but not by much. Probably like a bullet difference. However, instead of it being capped at 42 meters where it starts to drop off, the drop off begins at 28 meters. So for like 28 to 42 or 29 to 42, the Automaton ends up having more of an advantage, because at 28 meters, that's when the Cooper Carbine falls off. And that's like also the only thing that I think separates these two guns significantly, because the Automaton definitely, in my opinion, has more range than the Cooper Carbine. I feel like the Cooper Carbine has a certain amount of range, man. This gun is just like ineffective, in my opinion. I just feel like this gun isn't like hitting things at certain ranges that the Automaton does. That's just me, though. Some of you guys may disagree with me on that, but I feel like these damage drop-off ranges kind of prove my point. But anyways, man, 42 meters and above for the Cooper Carbine, we got 28 damage to the head, 28 to the neck, 20 to the chest and stomach, 19 to the extremities for the Cooper Carbine, 28 meters and above, 28 damage to the head, 22 to the neck, 20 to the chest, 19 to the stomach and extremities. So again, in the longer ranges, actually the Cooper Carbine has about the same. No, it has lower damage actually. The Automaton has more of an advantage in the neck. What's it called? Category. But man, like, as you guys hear, bro, these two guns are actually really, really close to each other. But I think the Automaton, the things that put it over the Cooper Carbine, in my opinion, is literally the 75 round mag, the fact that the damage drop off happens a little bit farther, and those two little feet or just details are why, in my opinion, like, the Automaton is the one that gets picked up with the Cooper Carbine. The Cooper Carbine is still really good, though. As you can hear, like, it's literally like a Automaton light. So if the Automaton was to get nerfed tomorrow, then I think the Cooper Carbine would quite literally be the substitute for the Automaton, because it's literally the same. Aside from the fact that damage drop off is exists, but like, even like the 15 bullet difference isn't the craziest in my opinion. But it's definitely, like, I would say it's a little bit significant considering the fact that both of these have a fast fire rate, but like, I don't think it's like that big of a deal where if like the Automaton was to just completely go away tomorrow, then like the Cooper Carbine would be able to fill in that void. It's just the damage drop off. And I think if they end up doing more changes eventually for the weapons, I think if they end up like increasing damage range for the Cooper Carbine, not even damage at this point, like, because literally, like I said, I didn't even realize how close they were before I made my statement earlier. If they just do damage range for the Cooper Carbine, I think that it would literally be the same thing as the Automaton. That's probably why they didn't do it, because they should have noticed that it was really, really, really similar to the Automaton. But whatever, man. I don't know though. Like, I'm just a little, I don't know. I'm just a little bored right now, man. I'm just sad. Because potentially we might actually have to be waiting a few months before we even see something new happen. I don't know, man. But for now, man, for the people that are still rocking with Warzone and still trying to have fun, man, hopefully this helped you decide which is like the better option for you. I'm sure this, for some people, I pick one over the other, and this situation would be like a little bit difficult. But for me, in conclusion, bro, I'm gonna have to say that the Automaton is still a little better. I wouldn't say it's far superior, but I would genuinely pick the Automaton over the Cooper Carbine. I think the Cooper Carbine though is probably the better sniper support though. So for you snipers out there, Cooper Carbine is probably definitely the wave. Also, man, if in case that the Automaton was to get nerfed, I think the Cooper Carbine for me would be the next in line because it literally is an Automaton light. But you know, that's just how I see it. You may see it a little bit differently. And if you do, man, let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.